Hey, welcome back to Matter. Welcome back to Matter of Fact. Today we got for y'all the Week 11 recap. We're going to start it off with Thursday night football, another division banger. Started out a little bit slower than expected, but ended up being somewhat of an interesting game. How do you feel about this one from what you remember?
I mean, it's just funny because like I kind of talked about that game script with the Commanders possibly being able to win the game, and for a while there they were up due to the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles kicker Elliott kept on missing kicks, and it was looking pretty good. Then two Saquon touchdowns later, it's ball game, and it's just like when I watch football or when I'm watching the games or whatever, I'm never like in people's phone talking shit, talking about some oh I told you so, nothing like that, and like it's because of reasons like those why I'll never pop off while the game goes on. You know what I mean? Because it's just like that shit could flip so quick, and it looked like the Commanders actually had this joint in hand. Defense was playing pretty tough. I don't know why they just kind of got away from like they got away from letting Jaden Daniels pass them the ball. Like they just got away from passing, and you know they went for it randomly on a fourth down when I think they probably could have just kicked it and played defense, and they would have been in better shape. And again, those coaching decisions cost Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury a very very huge win here. So, and then as for the Eagles, yeah, like I was saying, they were kind of struggling the entire game, but out of nowhere, Saquon just turns up, and then it looks like he had an amazing game. In reality, that was probably what, like maybe like a quarter and a half.
Hey, that's all it takes. That's all it
Right,
takes to
but I'm
really
saying
wreck a game.
but what I'm saying is that's why I finished the game. I
Oh,
watched it
before
till the
you
game
talk
was
shit,
finished.
what
Yeah,
you had?
well, before I even
You had some people in mind to talk shit to. It sounds like
no,
that
no,
you could
I
have.
didn't. No, I didn't. But I'm just saying, like we were talking, and you were thinking, you were saying they was gonna get smacked up. You were saying Philly was gonna smack them up, and I was like, bro, there's a script where like Commanders could win the game if it goes this way, and it did go that way for a little bit, and then it didn't. You know what I mean? And I mean, they still didn't get smacked up. They only lost by one touchdown, but still.
Yeah, I mean that fourth quarter. I mean the Eagles dropped 20 points up until the fourth quarter. They had 6 points.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah,
So I
this
think that
game
was a
definitely
toss up
didn't
game.
go how I expected. Really, I thought it was going to go over, but I think a part of that is me not the reality not setting in, which I don't know why. Their defense has been playing extremely well for the past several weeks. That this Commanders defense is no longer like an Achilles heel. You can't be like, all right, we just have to attack this part of them, and then all right, smooth contain Jaden Daniels. Dan Quinn's defense coming around, and we've kind of seen that around the league a little bit when it comes to new defensive minds or new defensive coordinators. It takes a bit for their philosophy to really come to the surface. And
Well, because the players are new too. You know what
mhm.
I mean? Like it's so everybody's new. That's why again, football
and
doesn't
then
start
the
until week
pre and
five.
then
You
the
know what I mean?
preseason
Yeah,
defense. Yep.
you know what I mean. So it's like especially it's not like Dan Quinn doesn't have the blueprint on Jaden Daniels. He's been playing them 2 times a year for the past 4 years.
You said doesn't have the blueprint on Jaden Daniels.
I mean, Jalen Hurts. Like it's not like Dan Quinn doesn't
Oh,
know how to
right,
defend
right.
Jalen Hurts because he's been defending them for the past four years, and I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's not like Jalen was lighting them up, and it wasn't like they weren't getting turnovers off of him then. So you know, I kind of already got this book right here. Let me see if I got the players so we can put that game
It's
plan in.
It's interesting you say that. I remember when Wink left, he's at Michigan now, but Jalen Hurts reached out to him on some like, hey, what do I look like in this? And he was just asking him for tips because, Wink man blitz all day. He went up against Jalen a bunch, and that's just a testament to the homework and the will to get better that Jalen has, and he's been looking pretty good. It's kind of reminiscent of the year that they went to the Super Bowl, and Saquon's proven to be a dynamic X factor along with AJ Brown, and it feels like knock on wood, if AJ Brown does happen to go down again for whatever reason, that Saquon could kind of supplement some of that offense. You don't think so? You don't think so? Why not?
It already happened when they were going through all that turmoil and all that was because AJ Brown was out of the lineup. You know what I mean? Like he's the straw that stirs the drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when AJ Brown's there and Deontay Smith's able to be that 1B, and then you know what I'm saying? They got you worried about the wide receivers. So you got too high. It's not like you about to just play cover 3, and then you can't put people you can't have 7 in the stack in the box up with 7 and 8 in the box because it's not like, oh, I only got to worry about Devontae Smith. It's like, goddamn, I gotta definitely worry about AJ Brown, and also Devontae Smith always is known for catching an amazing pass. So, you know what I mean? And then you got Saquon on top of that. And if he does, you know, he obviously.
No, don't get me wrong. AJ Brown, I've been saying this forever. Yeah. Like, I'm more willing to bet the Eagles when AJ Brown's in the lineup. But we have to remember, once again, with the defensive thing in the beginning of the year, not only is it a difference with the defensive coordinator and these new players. I mean, back then, they were still relying on Darius Slay and James Bradbury. Cooper DeJean wasn't even seeing the field yet. So if A.J. Brown does go down, can the defense just shore things up if the offense needs to get right? And then, boom, it could be another situation like this where one quarter from Saquon just breaks away and saves the day. I can see that. But obviously, you know, we should speak about things assuming everyone's healthy. I was just saying Saquon, definitely a game changer. Second, he's about 20, 30 yards behind Derrick Henry. In terms of rushing yards this year, they're 1 and 2. So we'll see how that happens. And he got 2 touchdowns today. Remember, when we were previewing this game, we were like kind of uncertain about taking that, but I felt like he was due. But it's all about if he gets stopped within the 5 or not.
Right. And I also explained it was like I'm not saying that he can't score no touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, obviously. I don't think you were saying that.
Right. Yeah, but it's like for at 190 or whatever it is, it's like you're gonna be blown if everything hits on your parlay and the most sure bet doesn't hit, you're gonna be sick. But
and that's been happening to like everybody, whether it's Saquon and it's like, damn, I just need another 6 from Saquon, and there's so many chances in fantasy, boom. And then on top of that, if you're double dipping and you had him in your parlay, you're sick. So I'm sure a lot of people avoided that Saquon touchdown play because it's not good value unless you took the 2 touchdowns. But you might as well do that if you're going to take it.
That's something that could be an indicator for you, though, from here on out. Because you know what I mean? I know it is for me. If I see that there's a running back that's at anything over like 180, 185, I might just go ahead and just get 2 touchdowns. Because now we got close to like probably plus 450, plus 500, plus 600. You know what I mean? So you can do that with something else with it. Now you only need 2 things to hit, and that might have you at over close to plus 1,000.
Right. So a lot about hitting these parlays is just being strategic with it and staying with your gut.
Right.
You know what I mean, staying with the fundamentals.
All right. Raiders game.
Whose page is this, man? All right. Raiders, Dolphins. I mean, hey, man, Tank Bowl. Raiders looking for their next franchise quarterback. Brought in Gardner Minshew as a bridge. He's doing bridge quarterback things. Threw it 40 times this game. Essentially, I'm kind of annoyed. Myers messed up one of my parlays. I needed more yards from him, but he wants to run the ball for 20 yards. And if it's like Wills combined, but yeah, man, this Dolphins offense is just different when Tua's in. So, you know, they did what they needed to do. You know, they're still fighting for a spot with the Jets in turmoil, trying to fight for that 7th seed because they're definitely not winning the division. So you have the Patriots and the Jets in there, and then it kind of leaves the Bills, who are clearly going to win the division, and then they're fighting for this wild card spot. So this was one they had to have. Went in, handled business. Jonnu Smith, I've been a big fan of Jonnu Smith since his time in Tennessee. I think he's a beast. I think that Tennessee should have kept that core, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Jonnu Smith, and built around that, found a quarterback. If I was a Tennessee Titans fan, that's what I would, you know, hindsight, or if I could press a button, that's what I would want. So, Yeah, he's a good complement to Tyreek Hill and Waddle, the speedsters, and you have Achan in the back. And then, Odell. I just wanted to say Odell's name.
Okay.
But yeah, man. I mean, what can we say about this one? What did you expect, really?
I mean, Mike, what's the head coach's name?
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels got his quarterback back, and now his team can score 34 points. You know what I mean? So the position's important for a reason. But here, one thing to be mindful of is the fact that Alexander Madison and Zaire White both were injured in this game. So it's just something to monitor. And then also, Raheem Mostert looks like he might not have it anymore. So I don't know, whatever league you're in, if you have Devin Echane, now would be a good time, if you don't already have him, to pick up Jalen Wright just for somebody to stash, because it looks like he'll be the next guy up. It doesn't look like they'll give Raheem Mostert the lead back that role. If anything, Raheem Mostert might just be phased all the way out of the offense here soon. And then obviously it's still not coming along here for Jalen Waddle, but I just think for him and Tank Dell, it was just an unfortunate season. It's just one of those things. And I mean, when someone like Johnny Smith is getting 6 for 101, it's kind of not going to be anybody's day. It's not like they needed 400 yards to beat the Raiders.
I was muted. You didn't hear me, did you?
No. I
was saying shout out to Raheem Mostert. You're doing your thing in your old age, but it's about that time. And then even if he did have a little bit of something, it's not like they're in a great position to make a playoff run right now. You might as well see what you have in the rookie behind Achan. So yeah, I agree.
Well, the bright thing about them winning is that they don't, Tyreek Hill is still out there and Jalen Waddle is still out there. So for the fantasy football purposes, you kind of are rooting for them to keep on going for that playoff push, so they don't just go ahead and decide, all right, we're going to sit down to we're going to rest Tyreek Hill, and let him get his.
I don't even think that's really a possibility for what's it called? That won't really affect the fantasy playoffs, I feel like, or the fantasy anything. Hold on, bro. All right, back to it. Ravens Steelers, another division matchup. Under seemed kind of guaranteed for this one. Steelers kind of have their number, but what was your takeaway on this one?
It's just classic Mike Tomlin spot, and everybody else may have something for Lamar, but Mike Tomlin for sure has a formula for him, and it just was a game. They were able to kind of contain Derrick Henry. I'm not going to say that they stopped him, but they were able to contain him. He only gets 13 carries, and it's just a muddied up game. Like, this is the game that the Steelers want to play. The first time I think I bet the Steelers at the beginning of the year, and I was like, they want to play football like this. And in games when they're able to do it, they're probably going to end up with the W. So, you didn't even really get much from Russ this game. Kind of came down to earth, somewhat mediocre. They ran Najee Harris, just kind of, did what they had to do. And they pulled it out, like, in the most Mike Tomlin way, which is why, again, like, Justin Fields and Russ are perfect for this team, because they can, with those two, they can manage to beat the Ravens. So
I think this is more about the Ravens being unable, or Lamar being unable to beat the Steelers, and the Steelers just being prepped for Lamar more than anything to do with Russ or anything. Because what I've noticed is,
well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. He didn't play well. They didn't have a good
Russell
quarterback.
Wilson.
Yeah, Russ. They didn't have a good quarterback.
He had a disgusting pick in this one. That one pick was disgusting.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like Justin Fields and Russ Wilson, these quarterbacks that are quote unquote cast offs, can come over here. Mike Tomlin can take him in, have one be a starter, and then he can go ahead and still beat Lamar Jackson. Like he don't even need somebody that's scoring touchdowns to do that. You know what I mean? Like even like at least Jim Harbaugh has Justin Herbert who put the game on his back. It's like, man, you don't even got to worry about putting the game on your back. They ain't even gonna get no touchdowns in this game.
It's funny that you say that. I was just telling a Steelers fan because he was bragging about this when I was like, I mean, y'all kind of got Lamar's number, but you know, besides the Ravens, like, you think this team is dynamic enough to beat like the Bills with the strategy?
Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of easy to
think,
game plan for the Steelers a little bit with like Russ's strengths. He's just kind of a watered down version of who he was in Seattle. He can't move like he used to move.
Right, I don't think any of that matters. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like I don't think the quarterback matters here. Like they just make sure it's not Pickett.
Man, to me, this is more about the Ravens, bro. Because with Lamar, think about it. Lamar has like a flawless. Hold on, Lamar has like a flawless record against the NFC, right? Why is that? Obviously, he plays the AFC way more. I think, ironically, Daniel Jones was like the only. I think he had like a 20-something plus record and won against the NFC. I feel like teams like the Steelers, who's used to Lamar's speed and kind of have that film on them and have the players, the core players, and Mike Tomlin, Spags. You know what I mean?
So if you take this win away, bro, they're still 7-2. Like
I'm not saying I'm not distracting from the Steelers. What you making this about the Steelers? I think this is more about the Ravens.
This season has been like that's what I'm saying. At the beginning of the year, I said they're going to beat Atlanta Falcons by muddying up a game. I was like, they might not even score a touchdown today, and that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying to get you to say. Like get you to see. It's like, yo, this.
Bro, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just like it's beating a dead horse. Like the Steelers haven't. Mike Tomlin doesn't have a losing season. So to me, it's about I'm projecting. Yo, how is this going to shake up in the playoffs? Because that's when it matters. And with the Steelers, you could have had Mason Rudolph back there still, and they probably still win this game. But my issue is, why can't the Ravens find a way to beat a team that just kicked 6 field goals? They didn't score a touchdown. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the AFC, the premier AFC teams see him enough and are used to his speed enough, whereas the NFC teams don't see him, and it's kind of like a shock when they go up against them. You know what I mean? And if I'm a Ravens fan,
I think these coaches, certain coaches just do well versus scrambling quarterbacks. Like they know how to contain them. Jaden Daniels, you know what I'm saying? He didn't play a good game at all against them. And I just think that, you know what I mean? Like you said, when you see it, you know what to do. It's the same thing when we talked about earlier with Jalen Hurts.
With the Commandos, they were able to put up like 28 points, and they barely won that Jones 21-28 or some shit like that.
Right, but you remember they got basically a free touchdown because they kicked it on their own 30. They tried to run a fake punt. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like everything has context. You can't I'm not saying you looked at the box score and said that, but it's like if you know what I'm saying, when you watch the game and you remember how the game.
What I'm saying is about me watching the game and watching Lamar play the Steelers and the Chiefs over the years, and I'm telling you, it's not just we know how to contain them type thing. It just feels like sometimes a team just has your number, and that happens with division opponents all the time. But if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm kind of worried about, hey, how is he going to do in the playoffs if first round they have the Steelers and they kind of have the game plan for them? Like we're kind of prepared for how you scramble around. We're not falling for any of your tricks right now.
Look. We got Derrick Henry. We cross that bridge when we get there. Let's just be.
You got Derrick Henry, and he seems to be getting caught up in the voodoo magic because then he fumbles off the
first play.
Off the jump, he scrambles. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's just something. It's like we brought you in and you a beast, but you're under the Steelers spell for this game right here.
Yeah, so I guess that's just what I'm like more so like I'm trying to say is like the way the Steelers can do this more than any other team I've ever seen. Like they do this brand of football more than any team I've ever seen. But where before I'd be like, man, these motherfuckers getting knocked out first game. Now I'm like, yo, if they play the Texans, the Steelers are going to beat the Texans in the playoffs.
I can see that.
Is that the? Did I ask you to predict that last week? Was that the game?
No. I know what you're thinking. It was the Chargers, Texans.
It was Chargers. Okay,
but let's take one of those teams out. What about Chargers, Steelers? Because, like you said, you have somebody that could put the team on your back versus Russell Wilson's kind of just riding the ship.
Well, I think Justin Herbert like throw 4 or 5 interceptions and lose a playoff game when he was up 28 points.
Yeah, but that's against the Jags, and the Jags are just such a mystery. Like I don't even know what that team is. Like what are they?
So I would like to see the match because that would essentially be him playing the Ravens again. You know what I'm saying? with playing a hardball brother, but I would like to see that match. But yeah, I'm telling you.
Well, you know what's dope about it? We have the Hardball Bowl this upcoming week.
Yeah, so
that's going to be dope. That's going to be so lit. I think that's Monday night too. Yeah. So it's going to be you're playing another team that wants to do a similar thing. Even though we'll get to the Chargers, they've been getting away from the run a bunch, and some of the points in that Bengals game was interesting. But
all right, get back right spot for the Colts. Anthony Richardson.
That's my dog. That's my dog.
You know what I mean? And again, this is why you can make the argument that they should have just kept him in there. You know, it's like
we're going to disagree heavy on this one. I feel like everything, and this is why I think if you're a Colts fan, you should be confident in this coaching staff and this organization right now. At least the way I felt was you got to bench him right now, but just bring him back in a couple weeks. They brought him back exactly when I felt like they should bring him back. And I feel like, yeah, it was a humbling experience, but Anthony Richardson's just a humble, good guy in general. He took it in stride. And quarterback's like the only position where it's like, all right, you're the 4th pick, you're guaranteed to get in there. You don't even have to beat out nobody, whatever. But for the aspect of, look, bro, if you playing like shit and you over here taking yourself out the game because you tired, you know what I mean?
I'm talking more so Joe Flacco I don't even think during the time he was starting, did he ever put up numbers this well? Not even the rushing, the passing.
He played like trash. He looked washed.
Right. I think that's the part that was shocking. Like, it was like, he couldn't even get to 272 when I thought he was going to be slinging it. I thought he was going to be doing like 300, 350 numbers. But, you know what I mean? He just looked like he didn't have it anymore. But again, they played the Jets.
Go ahead.
They played the Jets, who, you know what I mean, they're a shit show. And the one thing that did definitely benefit Anthony Richardson and also the Colts here is the Jets' non-existent run defense. You know what I mean? And when you got 2 premier rushers, one being the quarterback, and then Jonathan Taylor, you know what I'm saying? That's going to make the game.
24 carries for 57 isn't nothing crazy. So they kind of contained him.
I mean, yeah, but you got 2 touchdowns on the ground, and it's like he was moving the chains. He was keeping them, you know what I'm saying? Them last drives and shit. It's like, can't get him off the field. Aaron Rodgers was actually doing his thing at the end there. They couldn't get him off the field.
Yeah, I mean, definitely to me, and there's been a lot of disappointing teams this year, but the Jets by far most disappointing. And you saw they just fired their GM.
I saw that they fired their GM. I saw that shit. What? September. I saw this shit year of our Lord 2023 when they brought the Jets over here. I saw all this coming. So.
I don't get the logic behind it. Like, if it wasn't for what's his name, David Tepper, we'd be talking about like, yo, Woody Johnson, what is good with you, bro? You fire Robert Saleh, that wasn't a good move. Woody Johnson's been drafting well for y'all. It's not Woody Johnson's. I mean, not Woody Johnson. Who they fire?
Joe Douglas.
Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas been drafting well. It's not his fault that, you know, y'all tied your future and mortgage your whole future with Aaron Rodgers. That has nothing to do with him. He's doing his job. What is firing and y'all lost by a point. So what? If y'all happen to win this, flip the score, 28-27, he still has his job. Was he walking on eggshells like that? It's crazy. It's just
I mean,
scapegoat after scapegoat after scapegoat.
I'm surprised that you're surprised. I'm really surprised that you're surprised. It's like you really didn't see this coming.
The GM getting fired is crazy, bro.
Nobody from the offense is fired. You didn't see that coming? No?
Nah. I didn't.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a disaster. This is going to be a disaster. And it was just literally because of how they handled it before he was even on the team. And I was like, oh, my God. It was, again, a leverage thing. You giving up way too much leverage way too quick. And, I mean, when it came to the Jets, I haven't predicted anything wrong yet.
It's just disappointing to me, man, because they have so many players that I really like, and it's like, all right, you know how we did this earlier where I'd ask you, which is, it's perfect now because it's like, all right, if you were the GM for the Panthers, all right, let's do it for the Jets. You're the GM for the Jets. You're going to the offseason. Let's say y'all rattle out, I don't know, 6 or 7 wins.
What? I'll be gone. I'm not being a GM. The second we traded for Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, bro, I'm out of here.
Man, you would love to have a GM job, bro. You know you would.
Bro, I wouldn't have traded for Aaron Rodgers. So I would be out of a job because I would have told him no. Not for what you're trying to do, not for what you're asking for. And then when Aaron Rodgers
what if you put some like contingencies on it, like, all right, we're going to trade for this guy, but we can't, you know what I mean? Because we know about this guy. We've heard the rumors about how he is in the offseason.
Bro, they didn't know. They didn't know. There's no way that they knew about this. They didn't. There's no way they think about how you were talking about Aaron Rodgers, bro. He lost like 4 games straight. Yo, you were like, they might get it back.
Because from what I all right. So with Aaron Rodgers, it was similar to what I was seeing with the Bears and Caleb Williams. I'm seeing these flashes where it's like, all right, they could right this ship, and then there's just a week where I got off them. I've been got off the Bears. Now I'm a little bit more on them, but this season's kind of a wash. Now you have to go make those coaching moves that you should have made in the beginning of the season. But with the Jets, the play I was seeing from Aaron Rodgers, I was like, okay, he still got something there. And then it's just you have so much talent on both sides of the ball, it can't go this bad.
Why not? Maybe coaching matters. Maybe Robert Saleh doing his thing on defense mattered a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Actually, you know what I want to look at? But yeah, Jets, but still, feed into my hypothetical, bro. So you're the Jets GM in the offseason. First round, let's say you can't get any of the top 2 guys. Let's say Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, lock first round, and then at that position, someone like Jalen Milroe a reach. Do you go quarterback in the second? What do you get? I mean,
I don't know because I gotta see what the salary cap's looking like with this Aaron Rodgers thing. I gotta see what's going on. I gotta see what our books look like. I don't know who's coming up on contracts with them. I don't know who's about to be dead cap money. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they mortgaged themselves for a run this year. So it might be a situation where, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It might be
that just sounds crazy being said out loud.
Yeah,
even like what we see now.
Right. So I would really have to like break. The reason I could do it for the Panthers is because I listen to a Panthers fan every day. So I know what's going on. I know about how they move and shake and everything. I just know that it's a disaster over here. You know what I mean? That's just all I know. I just know it's a dumpster fire. But like, I mean, I guess in like a perfect world where everything's all good, it's just I have to make this decision. I mean, yeah, if I haven't, they're going to keep on trying to win games, obviously, but if I'm in a position to get a quarterback, bro, I'm not waiting no second round to get no quarterback. I don't wait on no quarterback that I think is a franchise player. So if I think a quarterback is a franchise player, I'm not about to wait on my franchise player.
Well, what if you don't think what if you think the draft position is a little bit rich for the quarterback and you might think, all right, we could get him in the second round. So let's say they're like, yo, we kind of like Jalen Milroe, but
he's not because then I'm stupid because he's not going to be there.
You don't think
if I like him? If I like him that much?
Well, that's the thing. I'm saying they don't like him. They don't like him that much. They don't have a first round grade on him.
Yeah, they know Because then that means that we, you know what I'm saying, let's get these guys, bro. We got value following on the board here. I'm going to go ahead and get the value. Listen, it's either franchise QB or flyer in the later rounds. And I'm talking like, you know what I mean, third, fourth. But again, I'm not looking for quarterback prospects like that right now for me to be like, okay, because I can identify one later. I can identify Spencer Rattler or whatever, but I'm probably not going to spend my early first, second round pick on no damn quarterback if I wasn't willing to spend my first round pick on him. Because he's not going to be there. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, he's not making it to my second pick in the second round because that's an early second round pick. It's like the 34th pick, 35th pick. And if he's worth the 35th pick, he worth the 20th pick.
Facts. Well, if you're a Colts fan, potentially sneak into the playoffs. And if Anthony Richardson's playing like this, I mean, I just like their core. I like their weapons. I like their coach. I like the quarterback. So let's say they don't sneak into the playoffs here. I think there's brighter days ahead. And I think Anthony Richardson is a definition of, I mean, bro, he's just so nasty, bro. Like it's there. Like you could just feel it. He just needs a breakthrough, needs more reps. And like I said, you might think they shouldn't have benched him, but I think they did the perfect move, bench for a couple games, bring him back, and you still in a good position. And I think you needed a little break for him, kind of like how Bryce Young, he came back.
They didn't bench him for the better player.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
of course
you know, a lot of people were under the impression that they were benching him for the better option.
Oh, then they're tripping. I never thought that. I was like, give that guy a breather. Oh, you're tired? All right, take a couple weeks off and get your mind right.
Yeah. Yeah, they thought they were, yeah.
All right. Vikings, Titans. How do you think about how Will Levis did here? And what do you think they should do with the quarterback position?
If he's a second round quarterback and he don't look like anything spectacular yet, then I'm getting a quarterback. Like
I thought you were on some shit where you feel like, quarterbacks need more time and we're kind of rushing the whole quarterback thing in this new generation of the NFL. And, if he shows enough flashes towards the end of the year, kind of like a Jordan Love situation on a worse team.
So then it would go into, which I know isn't true for them. It's, do you think he's a franchise guy? You know what I mean? Because now if I'm picking at 3,
they did at the beginning of the season, which is why they
but it's a year of evaluation, and they didn't think he was a franchise guy at the beginning of the season. They wanted to put everything in place for him to succeed, so that they could see and they could figure out if he is a franchise guy. You know what I mean? So now we grade off the 17 or the 14 weeks body of work that he's put together. We watch the film and we see the traits and we compare it to the opportunity that we possibly have of drafting a franchise quarterback in this draft. You know what I mean? It's easy to assess this shit, bro, but you gotta just, you know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta just do the homework. And again, I don't think like he's a problem, but again, is he worth we passed up on our franchise guy for? I don't think so. I don't think, and now because this was basically up to him. If he played well enough for them to not have the third pick, then yeah, he's the guy. But you played well, like kind of Jalen, like technically Justin Fields, the Bears weren't supposed to have Caleb Williams. But you know what I'm saying? Because of circumstances they did. In this situation, he's not going to be picking 10th at the way that they're playing right now, how they're playing right now. They'll be picking in the top 5 the way that Will Levis is playing. So, all right, if your quarterback, your replacement's there, you gave us the opportunity to pick him, bro.
Let's see. I think, So they're interesting, right? Because let me look at Tankathon real quick. Because they still have to play the Jags twice. And the Jags have, I think, the first pick right now. What's the deal with Trevor Lawrence's injury? I think they're going into they're going into the bye this week. What?
I say he's going to be done.
Okay, so that's potentially 2 wins for Tennessee. And my thing with Tennessee, they're the 1 and 2 pick right now, right? Now, Will Levis is going to be playing his ass off to prove that he could keep the job. Let's look at the past couple weeks. The past 5 weeks, they had the Bills, lost 34-10. They had the Lions, lost 52-14. They had the Patriots, they beat them in overtime. They had the Chargers, they lost by 10, and they had the Vikings, they lost by 10. 4 of those teams are playoff teams, bro.
Bro, but we're not going off of the box scores. We're going off of what he's showing on film, respectfully. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I just want to see what he could do against a team that's more in their tier.
Bro, again, this thing is still playing. It's not cut today. That's what I'm trying to say. We're going to see all the body of work he has, and they're going to be able to decide based on how it works out what we're going to do at the position. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're still going through their process. It's going to show. The development's going to show, or the lack thereof is going to show. And then they can just play off of that situation.
Yeah, but you also have to factor in the possibility of him improving. So do you think there's something there that they could build on? Look, why not?
Look, if there's a franchise guy in this draft, and there's
but you know this is a weak quarterback class. I don't think they're going to be the number 2 pick.
That's fine. Then the conversation is mute. You know what I mean? It's like the only way we get a quarterback is if we can. If we can get a better player than you, that's what we're going to do. That's the best way to scout. That's the best way to draft. That's the best way to do this.
The reason why I'm bringing this up is because for them, I think, all right, so this is a perfect quarterback class to even talk about this, because if it's, let's say Cam Ward and Sanders, they're the only ones really worth the early pick. Are the Titans do you just keep swinging at quarterback if you're still do you think there's a possibility at the end of the season they're kind of still wishy-washy on Levis and they don't really have like a solid read on should we move on now? I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. That's what they're 10 games into it, 8 games in with him as a starter. So they get probably
not really, because they benched him for Mason Rudolph there for a bit.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. So I said that they 10 games in, but 8 games with him as a starter. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. It was only 2 games? It was only 2 games with Rudolph?
Yeah, because they had like a bye, and then when they got back from the bye, he was starting.
Right. Okay.
So again, they're gonna have 15, and again, they're gonna have the most important weeks. The most important weeks of Will Levis's development haven't happened yet. That's going to be the last.
So basically, your takeaway is like it's too early for me to have a real read on it.
Yeah,
at the end of the season. I got you.
Yeah,
I just think they're perfect for the McMillan kid. I think that'd be perfect because you bet on Traylon Burks being an AJ Brown replacement. Stupidest move ever. That's why you got fired in that Eagles game. But Westbrook Akine, Calvin Ridley, who you paid. Then you add in another weapon. I think that'd be a good move. But
I mean, and also they have Tyler Boyd, who they paid too, and he has ties with the head coach. So it's not like he's going to be someone that's going to be replaced like that. You know what I mean? So it's funny. I mean, again, I like that guy as a player. Like I like Akine as a player, but I just, you know what I mean? They might be good. They paid money for when we do get a rookie quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
So you think that wide receiver room is good how it is right now?
I mean, Calvin really hasn't been playing bad.
Yeah, but
since D-Hop has been gone.
Yeah,
and they paid him to be a number 1. You know what I'm saying? They paid him to be a number 1. They paid Boyd. It's one of those things where you follow the money. You follow the money, and you see what's valuable for us, to us. We got 4 of these guys. Should we get boom, 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 or should we do something with our defense? Maybe get one of these pass rushers. It's just like I'm saying. It's too early to call right now, especially for a team like the Titans. When you don't, you know what I'm saying, you're not following that camp like that.
Yeah, we're not. But you also got to keep in mind Calvin Ridley, he turns 30 here in a month. So
they knew that when they signed him to $29 million last year.
And that's why I said I didn't like their offseason moves at all.
So. Right. So if they didn't, then they're irresponsible. Then you probably not gonna like what they do in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like
because it's like, damn, do we take Will Johnson? Well, we did pay Snead all this bread. Do we not get him? We paid all this money to Ridley and Boyd. Do we not get McMillan? But enough about Titans. I don't care. Vikings did what they had to do. That division, very interesting. Who do you think's coming out the NFC North, man?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Probably maybe Detroit though. I mean, Detroit looks like that they're a tier above all the other teams right now. Like they are the hottest team in the NFL right now. So,
well, in my prediction, in my way too early playoff predictor, I did have them going to the Super Bowl just outright. So, not really surprised. Yeah. But speaking of the lines, you might as well get to that game right now. Ass whooping. You got Mac Jones back there. It's the Jags that's probably going to thwart your whole your hope for Travis Hunter, to be honest, is what it's looking like.
And that's fine. But again, I told you, I don't hope for anything. But if we're going to suck, like trust me,
I'm more on your page in terms of the quarterback thing because Drake May was snatched from my hands when Washington lost 7 straight games at the end of the season when all their fans were like, yo, Sam Howell's the guy. I was like, yeah, he is the guy. Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, he is the guy. For sure.
I was like, nah, y'all need to draft the quarterback. What are y'all talking about? Some Joe Alt? What are y'all talking about, Joe Alt?
Yo, they had to improve the line to protect Sam Howell, yo.
I was like, y'all don't even want direction. Y'all don't even want to be good at this shit.
That shit blew me. But because of that Drake May situation, I'm very, we've been talking a lot about projections for the rest of the year, and we don't know until we know because it does come down to that last week. And it's games like the Titans, Jags, that's going to be a big factor. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I wouldn't mind. Fuck it. Well, you should do another video about that later in the season. But what do you think about the Lions? And yo, they were challenging plays up like 30, 40 points, bro. What do you think about how they're just hell-bent on whooping on teams?
And I mean, they had a sloppy game. See, this one I kind of was like, all right, I kind of understand it a little bit. Like they just had a sloppy ass game last Sunday night, so they probably wanted to get a bad taste out their mouth. Like, you know what I mean? Last Buddy threw 5 picks. Today he throws 4 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it was one of those things where
it was like a morale game.
Yeah, like the Jaguars just caught him at a bad time. Like this is how they wanted to do us. They was doing us like this. Like but they came in and they said, "Hey, we're gonna beat y'all's ass today. We're gonna."
But my question is, let's say he didn't throw all those picks last week, and they didn't need like a little get right morale game. You don't think they still do this? Like, let's say they had a solid game last game, how they wanted it to go.
I mean, I think they do this because they're just running their offense, bro. They're just running their offense.
So I mean, you don't feel nothing about them challenging shit up like 30, 40?
I mean, they would have, even if they didn't get it, they would have had to play. They wouldn't go get it on the next play.
Yeah, I see. I'm fine with it. It's just I feel like they're like the beloved team. Nobody's really talking about it. Which I don't care. Stop them. You feel me? But man, I just love seeing. Besides that, I just love seeing Brian Branch play. I don't know how he made it to the second round, bro. What was going on?
Because he didn't run a 4. Because he ran a 4.6.
NFL team still hung up on a 40 time.
Hey, I mean, they're not hung up on it. You got drafted in the second round. You just not a first rounder at nickelback. It is what it is.
Yeah, but teams do more than play
value. But teams get value like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Lions scooped them up, and
they've been drafting amazing recently.
So because they don't care about that value. Like they drafted Sam Laporta. They didn't care. They didn't care about drafting a middle linebacker and
second round's a good spot to draft tight end. So I mean that's where Luke Musgrave went, and he's not even getting PT.
Right, but what I'm saying is they drafted a linebacker and a running back, and they drafted a tight end. But it don't matter. They're all good football players. You know what I'm saying? So of course when the nickelback that plays star for Nick Saban for 3 years that came in as a 5-star football player. The only reason y'all don't like him is because he don't run fast enough for you. Of course, they see that, and Aaron Glenn's like, I can do something with him. Come on. And it works.
I'm just looking at some of the players that went ahead of him. It's just like, yo, some of y'all could have used yo. It's crazy, but that's the hindsight game. But let's get to it. Broncos, Falcons. Hey, you called this game perfectly, man. This was what, your love?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you called this game perfectly. You gave Bo Nix his flowers, and Bo Nix went out and threw what, 4 touchdown passes. So,
Yeah.
If you're the Falcons, how you feeling right now? Because right now, you're first in the division, and the Bucks. Is Mike Evans back yet?
He should be coming back this week. Like, we'll figure out if he's coming back this week.
Important game for the Bucks against the Giants, who just benched Daniel Jones. And I was looking at the fantasy projections for quarterback, because quarterback's the first one that popped up, and it was interesting seeing DeVito at their projecting about 15 points. It was like a couple points above Matthew Stafford and like Bryce Young and Will Levis.
Because he scrambles.
Yeah, I'm hit.
So he's
so does Will Levis.
Right, but Matthew Stafford ain't scrambling. You know what I'm saying?
Matthew Stafford will throw 4 or 5 touchdowns on your head top, though.
Right, but he's not projected to this week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
your boy's gonna get out there and get gritty. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not saying he's gonna go crazy or whatever, but he'll probably like at least have 185 yards and probably close to 40 yards on the ground right there. You know what I'm saying? And then don't let him get
probably. I could see him. Your stat line: 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground. I could easily see, and then a pick in there. Is what I could see with that. But yeah, with the Falcons, are you hearing a lot of rumbles of let's see what Penix could do, or they just cooling?
I mean,
because he came in that first ball he threw, I was like, I hope I forget who the pass catcher was that got rocked.
Or Don.
It might have been. I don't think it was Mooney either. It felt like it might have been that Hodge kid.
Cardell Hodge.
Maybe. But
yeah,
beautiful ball, and that's what Penix was known for coming out the draft. So, do you think there's that, especially if you're the Falcons and you're thinking, look, in this division, we're trying to make a run, or we paid Kirk 180, and we're not rushing Penix out there.
I mean, again, you can't be reactive off of one game. And
yeah. I'm not talking about this game, but let's say there's a couple ones where it's like, Kirk Cousins is looking washed. Let's say he has a couple more games where the pass rush, like your analysis, that's his kryptonite.
Yeah, that pass rush was just, and that's what I'm saying. It's like they have to know going in, like, all right, we playing a team that, this is what it's going. This is probably what it would have looked like if we had like Micah and fucking, you know what I mean, like last year's Cowboys, if we would have played the Falcons, because we would have been able to get on Kirk Cousins. But you know what I'm saying? I think you can't really panic. You got to hope that they're able, because it looked like everybody on offense it just wasn't clicking today, and the Broncos was hot. They was killing it. So I think it's just one of those things where y'all still first, no need to panic. Also might be something where the offensive coordinator might just need to go back into his drawing board. You know what I mean? We always forget that there is a first-year offensive coordinator calling these plays. And we're 10 games, 11 games into the season. People got some film and they got some data on buddy. So now we know tendencies. Now you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a different ball game now for a lot of these teams. And also, Kirk Cousins' numbers are a little screwed because he got like 9 touchdowns against one team. You know what I mean? He played the Bucks and got 9 touchdowns between those 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying, and that's when he lit him up and had those amazing games.
And now we know. I mean, that Bucks secondary, one of the worst in the league. So.
Right. So it's just like, again, I don't think you need to panic yet. But if it's starting to look like Kirk Kirk is seeing ghosts for sure, yeah, you're going to take him out. Or
which I don't really see that happening in terms of
right.
him like seeing ghosts.
So I mean,
It's just,
me personally,
it's a
right
conversation
now,
to be
yeah.
had.
Oh yeah. See, I wouldn't have. I mean, me
No,
personally.
I'm just saying in terms of me bringing it up right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm rocking with Kirk. Fuck it. It's all good.
They wait, what the hell? Oh, they got the bye. This is the perfect time for them to get a bye. Get your mind right because you got the Chargers coming
Right.
off the the Harbaugh Bowl, emotional game. It could be
And
that could be a nice get right spot for them to get their confidence back because this was a deflating loss.
Yeah, and I mean, again,
No
like I said, Zach
touchdowns. You get
Robinson.
shut out in the second half.
Yeah, like New Year offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, he going to learn from this game too. So, so it's all good. It's all good. It's just a loss.
And just a fantasy note, you're a Javonte Williams owner. Depending on who they play, obviously they're bringing in estimate, which I'm surprised they're actually passing it to the estimate kid a decent amount. But it seems like Javonte Williams, a big part of his role is going to be in the passing game. 5 targets, 4 catches. So PPR wise, if you have a game flow like this, it's a good time to have Javonte Williams. Might be able to throw him in the flex. We have the Bipocalypse. Both 2 Bipocalypses coming up where 6 teams out. So don't sleep on that. Keep an eye on that backfield.
But also, me personally, I think that ship has sailed on. That ship has sailed on Javonte Williams. I think if you didn't, I wouldn't go chasing those points if I were y'all too. But like you said, it's the Bipocalypse, so you're gonna take whatever you can get. But
I also think it depends on the team they play because if they play a team where that offense could get going, I think he will be a part of it. And I think it does help that he's just not the main back, and you have to kind of deal with a different style of back with their rook. So I feel you. Me personally, like I traded him away in one of my leagues, in our league, and then in my other league, he hasn't seen my roster in weeks. So it's definitely like a specific snipe spot. Like if you're in the fantasy playoffs and it's like, okay, they got the Panthers or some shit like that.
Yeah,
I can see him getting busy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's definitely depends. I'm not saying running back 2. Put him in there for the rest of the year. Did you see what he did? PPR what? Nah, none of that. None of that.
Yeah. Seattle versus 49ers. Good old Jackson Smith-Njigba. I'm the player that I always imagined he'd be.
I'm getting him second round next year for sure.
He is my Amon St. Brown. He's the Amon St. Brown.
Weren't you saying that? That earlier? You're dead on because I think he can win people their fantasy playoffs.
Yep.
For sure.
I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yo, you look like a proud dad right now. Chill out, bro.
Because I was like, I was just like that's a big part of my drafting is like me finding one of those 6th round gems. Like it was supposed to be him and Rashid Rice or whatever, and then it didn't really work out. But to have this one make it through, don't
bring up that Rice name, man.
To have this one make it through and him to get peppered like this. It's a thing to see.
I think he benefits. I think he benefits a lot from DK being there. Similar to the Eagles. I think there's a different offense, and DK is such a freak that he requires so much attention from the defense, and you can't just straight double team DK when you got JSN out there.
Yeah, but the best thing was when DK was injured, was out with an injury. He played. He had 10 receptions or 11 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown. So it's like okay. Now did he do that because DK was out or what? And then now he's
a superb talent.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, all right, bet. And I mean, again, this is Jackson Smith-Njigba, who was on that Ohio State team with Marvin Harrison Jr., with Garrett Wilson, with Chris Olave. All the wide receivers that are
wide receiver U2.
And he was at times he was the best one. So this is I'm just happy to long time coming and happy to see that we here now. And then again, 49ers, lose another one. Tough game here for the home team. Juan
I'm
Jennings.
I'm I'm actually I'm actually glad they lost this one. They deserve this is a game they deserve to lose, to be honest. I didn't like the game plan by Kyle Shanahan here. And I think it's becoming abundantly clear. Like when it comes to Ayuk, like I don't blame them for paying him, but Kittle's definitely more of an X factor for this offense than Ayuk is.
Well, you can't replace George Kittle. You know what I mean? Like, you can find a way to try to replace Brandon Ayuk's production at wide receiver position, but George Kittle is a tight end that can block. He's basically a second lineman, so he helps out in the run game.
Best blocking tight end in the league for sure.
You know, right now I think this is the most touchdowns he's had since like his second season or something like that. But this is one of the most touchdowns he's ever had in his career, and he's a solid route runner, pass catcher. You know what I mean? So like
when he gets open in space, it's crazy, and then in the red zone, he's just mossing multiple people. It's almost like a guarantee when they get in the red zones. For Brock Purdy not to have that security blanket, I mean, it'll be great when he's back because Juwan Jennings has been doing his thing. So you know that combo of McCaffrey, Debo, Jennings, Kittle.
I mean, it's dangerous for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But this is a game to me they deserve to lose or playing scared. But definitely makes this division a lot more interesting. I mean, we've been saying this for a while. Now we have the Cardinals 6-4, and the rest of the teams are tied at 5-5. But the problem with the Niners is you keep losing these division matchups, and that's going to come into play with the tiebreaker.
Yeah. I mean, you know, but. Again, maybe it's Super Bowl fatigue. Maybe they get it fixed, but yeah, another
I mean,
week for the
like you were saying in the offseason, I mean, they came in with the Trent Williams situation, which was getting overshadowed by the weird Brian and Ayuk situation. And
then a player gets shot.
Speaking of that player getting shot, he almost lost me my week. So what happened with me in my big money league is I got the alert middle of the night. Kittle is expected to be out. I'm like, fuck. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scoop up Will Dissly right now. And shout out to him. I won by 2 points. He's the reason why. And ironically, I was playing against JSN. So I'm watching JSN get old. I'm like, yo, why? I'm seeing him get open. I'm like, he's about to get it right here. He's about to get it right now. He's about to get it right here. I'm like, oh my God, why is he so open, bro? Why is he so open?
Yeah, that was probably a bad game for you to watch then. Yeah, because he was.
I mean, I'm a fan of the player, so see, with me in fantasy, I'm not rooting that hard against these other players, especially if I like them. I'm like, my team just needs to outproduce your team. So I'm like, all right, we gotta get that back. You know, JSN went crazy PPR wise, 10 catches, over 100 yards. We gotta get that back. But you know, I benched Ladd McConkey for Ricky Pearsall because I didn't want to double dip into the Chargers offense. And that was a bad move.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little reactionary when it comes to games like that. You put up a donut on my team, I'm ready to drop you.
Yeah, see. Yeah, we tweet, baby. We tweet. That's in the past.
Boy, that donut's drop, man.
That donut is in the past, bro. That donut. Think about the people that dropped Jared Goff this week, right? Because he had 5 picks. There's no way if you started Jared Goff, you're trying to even see him on your team anymore. And then somebody who didn't experience the 5 picks is like, Jared Goff against the Jaguars? Give me that shit.
It's funny you say that in the same league. I'm playing the guy who drafted Anthony Richardson, and that's the funny thing about fantasy. That you have like it's like you in a relationship with your girl, and it's just a crazy tumultuous relationship for years. So I'm tired of her. Another man's trash is another man's treasure. Drops Anthony Richardson. I scoop him. He's on my bench now, and he's looking legit. So it's like, you know, depending on the matchup, he might get it over Purdy, who they say is day-to-day now. So we'll see about that. But, yeah, Chiefs-Bills. Hey, man, this is a spot where you're like, hey, you just want the Bills to win because it goes with your predictions. But I think the Chiefs – well, I just think the Bills – I mean, they've won like the last 3 regular season matchups, I think. So it's just about how they play them in the playoffs. And I could just see another situation where it's like, all right, y'all got us here, but this is not where y'all want to have us.
Right, because even Josh Allen did some nut shit in that game.
He made that back though last play of the game.
But you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Bro, he had the guy. It was a crossing route. It's like 4th and 3, and it's just all he has to do is just pass it, just simply pass it. Khalil Shakir was open and Amari Cooper was open. He floated it right to the defense, like 3 yards. Like he just didn't get enough under it. He just tossed it to the cornerback that was sitting right there, something Rogers. And I'm like, are you like? It just only happens with the Chiefs, Connor right here. And it's just like this kid, and I'm like, how does that happen?
He had a solid game. He had 7 tackles, pass deflection, tackle for loss, that pick.
Mm-hmm. He was playing his ass off. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they didn't get enough from Hopkins, didn't get enough from Travis Kelce. So the results are the results. Pat Mahomes tried to get him back in it, had 3 touchdowns, but just didn't have enough yards through the air to be able to compete. And I mean, the Bills' defense is legit. So
that it is.
You're already struggling, right? And I mean, I should have known that. I wish I was thinking about this a little bit more. But like, you already struggling on offense, and then now you're going up against a top tier defense. It's going to show if they could put up at least a few touchdowns on the board, and that's what the Bills were capable of doing. So that's how you get the 30 to 21 game.
Yeah, and with the Chiefs, that's how they've been winning games is through the defense. And as long as we could hold them to around under 24 points, we could find a way to win this one. And hey, Josh Allen breaks. There's only a couple players that can make that play Josh Allen made. It was risky. I think they would have went up like 5 if they just kicked the field goal. They opted not to. And the way these kickers have been missing field goals, I don't blame them. So. Yeah, but Chiefs aren't losing sleep over this. So they get Pacheco back here soon.
They don't care about the regular season. They're glad they won. I mean, they're glad they lost so that they don't.
Yeah, so people stop talking about
it. Travis Kelce walking off the film is clapping and telling them congratulations. Like the fans that, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, they don't give a fuck about this shit, bro. You know what I mean? They got bigger fish to fry, So
what's your takeaway on Xavier Worthy? You led the receiving room today. Most receptions, most yards.
I mean, he should have had more, which I think would have been big for them because he had one play for probably like another 40-yard bomb, and he just stepped out of bounds. But I just think they need him to show up. They need him to do more. But I think it's more important that the Bills were able to stop Nuke from going off, and also Travis Kelce. I think they're not winning any games when they're both held to only 3 and 2 receptions.
Well, at least playoff games for sure.
Bro, yeah. I think one has to cook. You know what I mean? And not cook like go crazy, but like an 8 for 86 with a touchdown type game in order for them to, do what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, this is the perfect time to stop the Chiefs from, for one, hitting that 3-peat. But I mean, another year with Xavier Worthy, you get Rashee Rice back, and then you have D-Hop. I mean, they could get kind of spooky with how we know the Chiefs' defense plays, how they get the right players in the draft in the offseason to supplement losing a Chardavius Ward, losing a L'Jarius Sneed. So this is the time to get after him, especially which, people are saying, man, this man Travis Kelce's watch. I'm not falling for it again. So, yeah, we'll see.
January. He's not. I don't know if he's necessarily washed. He's not the player he was before, but that doesn't make you washed. And especially week 11 of a regular season football game. You know what I mean? But yeah, so they're gonna be straight. They're gonna be straight. Travis Kelce gonna be washed until he in the Super Bowl, and then he's gonna have 8 receptions.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm not falling for it, man. I'm not falling for it. I know what you're doing, Kelce. I know what you're doing.
Chilling.
I got my eye on you.
So this one was fun, right here. Nice
Evan
little show.
McPherson lost me like 2 parlays. That's why you don't double dip. Just why you don't have multiple picks in the same part and different parlays.
Oh, that's the kiss of death.
Yeah,
always gonna be a kiss of death.
I'm hit. What I had was the over for this game, the Bengals, and then I had the Texans -7 and the over for that game. And then I had a different parlay that was like would have been settled that day. I just needed that. I had T. Higgins to get a touchdown, the over, Bengals to win, and who scored on the Chargers? Quentin Johnston. Mm-hmm. So all that's hitting. They're coming back. I'm getting hyped, man. And then I wish they went for it because, look, they kicked the field goal. Yeah, well, McPherson misses the field goal. I think it's like a 48-yarder. And then you're in the same situation again. You're like, yeah, go kick a 51-yarder. I just don't know about that. How do you feel about that decision?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, this is just a special – this is Zach Taylor. Like, this is kind of just – it's finally – he's unraveling a little bit. But, you know, it is what it is. You got to trust your kicker. So they needed 3 points.
Only kicker I'm trusting is Brandon Aubrey. My boy. Yeah, but my man's made a 64-yarder, no problem. We're gonna go for it though.
But yeah, I mean, this was a classic Joe Burrow spot. If you know, when Joe Burrow has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on both sides of him, he's just a completely different dog.
T. Higgins is so nasty. I mean, what do you think they should do in terms? Because you let Joe Mixon go, you don't have to pay him. I mean, you got to bring T. Higgins back, right? Maybe get a new coach, retain T. Higgins. Because what do you do there?
I mean,
doing that.
T. Higgins is as good as gone. Like that's already been taken care of. That's already done. He's doing his job right now, and he's putting up this good film. So that ship is sailed. I'm maxing out Chase, obviously, so that's probably going to be 40. And then
don't they still have to pay Trey Hendrickson?
I don't know if they're going to pay him. I don't know.
Where is all their money at? Who are they paying?
Joe, but this is one of the cheapest franchises in the NFL. Like,
I'm hip. Well, it's the poorest owner.
Yeah. I mean, they ain't poor, but you know what I'm saying. But
I mean, it's like when we say somebody's trash in the NFL. Well, you're in the NFL. Yeah. When we say you're poor as a billionaire, you know what I mean? Right. Like it's relatively poor.
But I think what they're going to do is everyone knows what they're going to do. They're going to draft the wide receiver in the first round.
You better draft right. T. Higgins, I mean, his game to me is very George Pickens-like. Like, even the way he loves to when he catches the ball and he's just stiff-arming that joint and is like, I got this right here.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. It kind of sucks. You can't have, 75, 50. I mean, you can't have 135 mil tied up in 3 players. I mean, at least this team isn't going to do that. So, you know what I'm saying?
It's so funny you're saying that.
T. Higgins is, I mean, why?
Because you're about to have that type of bread tied up in Dak, CD, and Micah.
Right, but Micah's on defense. They can't have that tied up in. They can't have that allocated just to the 2 wide receivers and the quarterback.
Well, that means y'all better pay Trey Hendrickson.
Well, I mean, I don't know how well has Trey Henderson been playing this year. Is he? You know what I'm saying?
He's one of the sack leaders.
One of the sack leaders, okay. You know what I mean? Because it's just like they might feel like, all right, we want to use him also for this season, and then like we appreciate your service, but we're gonna find a new pass rusher or whatever. I mean, they'll probably end up paying him because he is a pass rusher, and he
actually leads the league in sacks, like 11 and a half.
Right.
And the next up is Sexy Dexy with 9, tied with Nick Benito from Denver.
Nick Benito. He's becoming a beast too. But yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow doing classic Joe Burrow things when he has his dogs back.
You keep saying that like they won the game.
Well, no, I'm just saying because they didn't lose it because of Joe Burrow.
They're never really losing it because of him. He always shows up.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They lost the game because defense couldn't stop anything. I mean, you know, we got Lad McConkey just
Damn, that's the game
all
he
over the
had.
place.
I like completely. It's like my eyes were not looking at how he did on my bench while Pearsall put up a donut. I feel like such a
Yeah,
goober.
Will Disley, another one if it's in the
That's who won me
bottom
my
right.
shit. That's my
So
dog. That's my
so
dog. Hey, real quick, selfish. Do you think I should keep him on the bench with George Kittle, or just drop him and keep working? 'Cause it feels like you could kind of, if you know what you're doing, you can kind of find a tight end if you need a fill in.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
yeah,
should
if
drop
you
him.
feel, I mean, it's all relative to how your roster is constructed right now. How many players you got on bye? How many players you about to have on bye?
My
You know
bench
what I
is just
mean?
stuffed, and I still have Pacheco on IR. I do have Kareem Hunt still, but it's like he's coming back soon. I have to remove him, but
Right. I
whatever.
mean, yeah. So yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. I probably, if I had him, I'd probably just keep him, especially if Kelsey is being injured or whatever. But
Kittle.
Kittle. But yeah, I bet him anytime touchdown because I just knew he was about to do his thing, and I knew it was going to be a high scoring game. So he's part of the offense. They paid money for him. They paid like real money. They spent up at the tight end position for Will Disley. So it's not like he's some slouch that's just out here getting the targets because it's Justin Herbert. Like he's part of the offense, and Justin again, fishing day when he has to throw the ball, he can throw it, and then he give
We
you a
do have
little
to
bit in the
remember who
zone.
their we do have to remember who their OC is. Greg Roman. He loves running the ball. He loves his tight end. So yeah, he's definitely going to continue to be involved in the offense. Definitely not fluky. He's doing this thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to the Bengals, man, I've been saying it since like week 3. I'm like, you needed that Patriots win, and now it's looking doom and gloom over there.
Yeah, but we passed that because they could have got that Patriots went back. You know what I'm saying? But when you drop the last one that they dropped, and then you drop this one, it's like, damn.
But this
Well,
one's not really even a drop. This was one where it's like, and that's what's tough, and that's why I had them in both parlays because I feel like, look, Chargers, they're really good, well coached. You have Justin Herbert there. Gus Edwards is getting back healthy. That's another thing, and they're solid. They're in a good space right now. But the Bengals really needed this one, and now I mean, who they got next? Hold up, no, this is not what I want to look at. Um, now they got the Steelers. Oh yeah, this is what we talked about a couple weeks ago. Is like, yo, you kind of have a little gauntlet right here, and now you got the Steelers, and there's no guarantee you're going to win that one.
well, I mean, they're in the playoffs now. They're just in the playoffs, so play playoff football. You got T Higgins back. I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing with their defense is really going to get fixed right now. So they know what the assignment is. Chase Brown owners probably not tripping. They're like, look, my man is eating right now. So
Man, that kid has juice.
yeah,
Like, he's nasty, man.
yeah. So speaking of running backs, former Bengal running backs.
Joey.
And this game was funny. But
It was
I'm
fun
not
for a
gonna
bit.
get
Remember, I
yeah.
texted you. What were you doing during the game? I was texting you. I don't know if you were kind of in your zero
Well, I
dark
was chilling,
30.
but you said some shit where it's like, boy, what are you talking about? They gonna make this entertaining for the first half, but by the second half, the wheels gonna fall off, which is cool, You know what I mean? Like, but again, they essentially like they played a real life football game, like how like you play like a little kid in Madden. Like they just man blitzed every single play. Like they just blitzed everybody every single play.
Yeah,
And
I
Cooper Rush
was
couldn't do
saying
anything.
that you guys are too good to get Travis Hunter, but it's kind of unfortunate how many linemen y'all lost. It was just like one after
Well,
the next.
the thing is, we're not. I mean, this was essentially a third preseason game. I don't even like. I didn't like. We didn't have none of our starters. Trayvon Diggs was out there. Mike was out there. Osa was out there. Kendricks was out there. Overshown was out there. 5 players on our from the projected starting lineup was on defense. You know what I mean? And then you already know about the offense. You know, so it's like it's just. I mean, I like that they put up some fight. They showed some fight, and they were playing around. I was like, yo, what are y'all trying to do? Win this game for real? But then, they did their thing and got it taken care of. So good for CJ Stroud, good for Joe Mixon, Nico Collins. They
Makes his return.
came through.
Oh, that's funny. Him and Tank, they'll have the same exact yards and receptions.
And I lost a fantasy football game because they called back. That was the worst part. They called back his 77-yard touchdown, and because they called that back, I lost a fantasy football game. And I had CeeDee Lamb too, and I was more worried about CeeDee Lamb not doing that. He balled out. He did his thing. He's showing heart. So I mean, I'm not going to be upset.
I mean, the whole team was showing heart. I mean, even down to Zach Martin. Team is kind of in shambles. He's playing his heart out. Darren Steele too, Guyton.
No. We lost Tyler Smith, and Tyler Guyton. Yeah, he got rocked. But it is. I mean, it is. The offensive line held up well in the first quarter, in the first half. So
there's only so much you could do when you lose 3.
I don't know if you heard that. If you saw that quote that CeeDee Lamb said.
No, what did he say?
He said let me see if I can go to it. It's a telling quote, but it's just kind of like this is where Cowboy, like this is where we're at. This is where we at as a whole, as a team, I guess. And basically what he says is that he said when people see us, they want to whoop our ass. They want to beat the hell out of us. And he basically, I don't know, I can't look it up now. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So like he was like, teams are going to come through and they're going to try to smack us. Like that's what it is. It's like we've been winning for so many years. Like they're coming through and they're trying to smack us, and that's what teams are doing. You know what I mean? They're coming through, trying to put it on them, and we got this team that's depleted, so they can do it. So they're going to run up the score. They're going to do all that, but.
I mean, in all fairness to y'all, they did have 2 defensive touchdowns. So
1, but I mean, Joe Mixon got in the end zone 3 times. You know what I'm saying? And they did. If they could have had 40, they would have. But the defense didn't let that shit go down. And I appreciate the fight, but right now we just in a bad spot. And as long as they keep on losing, it's all good. It's all good, and even if we win a few games, but we still were able to get a top 10 pick, I ain't tripping. I'll just make sure you hit on it because that's a blue chip player and we have a lot of needs. So to know that we're going to get some blue chip player for help that we probably wouldn't be able to get if this was even the average healthy team.
Yeah. The typical 12-5 past 3 years.
Right. Or even if we would have went 10-6, even if we were just competitive, you know what I mean? Like playoff team type shit. Like we're going to get a guy to add to the roster that will be probably another,
And I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about that. Like you guys haven't had the opportunity in the first round
to get Micah.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool. But let's go ahead and add one of these blue chip pass rushers that we wouldn't be able to get. At one of these game changers at wide receiver, talking about even the Arizona.
I think you guys are definitely getting D tackle, a couple good D tackles at the top of this draft. Not a overly strong draft, so
yeah, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got so many needs like we do, it's all good. It's all good at the top, baby. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I was reading another I was telling you, I was reading a tweet by a Cowboy fan account. And the Texans is trying to crack jokes and all this, and we to the point where it's like, yo, we more mad at our team than any of y'all are. Like, y'all think this shit is affecting us? We hate these motherfuckers right now. We can't stand their asses. Like, nobody's more pissed at the Cowboys than Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? We ain't defending this shit. So it's like we know what we need to do. They doing their job. Be competitive and lose the game. You know what I'm saying? Be competitive as hell. I want to love what I'm seeing in the first half. And then, go ahead and rest up. Zach Martin, I want you to be able to see, take care and play around with your kids. We good. Thank you for your services. Tyler Smith, we need you to be back healthy next year So go ahead, rest that leg. Like we chilling. We don't even gotta tank, bro. We just gotta play the players that are healthy.
Yeah, I mean, going into this year, I mean, you don't make any moves. You don't really do much. I mean, what do you really expect? It's hard to win 12 games, let alone do it three years in a row. But hey, your boy Zeke, I was like, yo, who's that? Who just caught it? And he got a little bit of juice, and it was Zeke. So you got one
Good,
nice little play out of him. Y'all should bring him back next year.
good for Zeke. You know what I mean? I wish him nothing but the best, bro. I miss nothing but the best. So
Yeah. But yeah, Texans handle business. It's kind of interesting because the Colts are 5-6, so they don't really have this division locked up.
they might not
Yeah.
be as good as people think they are.
I don't think people think they're that good. I mean, if you've been watching them, I don't think they're that good.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, we'll see now when Nico Collins back, but it's like, yeah, they had a lot of deficiencies, got a lot of
Well,
problems.
they they have. I mean, they have the Titans two more times or two times in general. They haven't played them yet. They got the Jags, Dolphins, but then they have a 3-game stretch of the Dolphins, who are going to still be fighting around week 15. They'll be coming off a bye for that week 15. They got a bye week 14, and then they have the Chiefs, and they got the Ravens, who, the Ravens going to be fighting until the end, with the Steelers being 8-2 right now. So, this is a part of the season where you feel like you know what's going to happen, but no one really knows how
It's
shit's going
November.
to end up.
This is where they say playoff football. Like this is where it's like now you're about to know about teams after December. Once Thanksgiving comes, like this is when the football season starts. And
Best
like
part of the year.
the cream of the crop. That's about the show. And teams that just had a nice little run, they're gonna go ahead and get back down to mid tier. So good win for Texas. Good win for the Houston fans that traveled all the way from Houston to Dallas, and they
All
had
the
it all
way. It's a 3-hour drive.
3 hours, but whatever. So they always wanted to do that. They got the party in Dallas. So congratulations to them. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the schedule. So y'all got Washington next. Surprised, I guess the lines every week. Kind of surprised at the 10.5. I didn't think it was going to be all that, but
Bro, we lost like mad people.
yeah, I'm hip. But I guess it's not calibrated in my mind that Washington is a team, and then I just gotta get my mind right. But
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, we'll see. 10.5. I mean, that might be like, again, I guess it's just relative to how well, you know what I'm saying, like how well they're playing that day. Because you know what I'm saying, if we can, if they, I know they're gonna try to run up the score if they get a chance to, because they ain't had the chance to do that since the last time that was injured. You know what I mean? But
yeah, they definitely get up playing, y'all. So should be interesting. But yeah, that's it for the recap. A lot of bye weeks this week. Make sure you do what you need to do on the waivers, and then we'll be back for that Thursday night preview, amongst some other things. But you got the bye weeks right there.
Right here. So just watch out for that. Do your thing. Do what you want with that information. Do what you will.
You better been prepping. You had all fantasy season to prep, so better not be surprised. But that's it for us. Matter of fact, be back for the Thursday night football. Who is it? Browns Steelers.
Yeah.
Jameis just makes things complicated. We'll see how that goes.
Or fun, depending on what side you're on.
For sure. All right, we out. Like and subscribe.